Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
March already, Chemda.
Woo!
March 2022. My landlord really cashes in my rent check like right away. It's like, what's the hurry, bro? You know, I put it under his door. It's out of my account a minute later somehow. I don't know.
It sounds like he says something. Yeah.
I think he needs it more than I do. So that's fine. But still.
I was going to say, do you think that says something about you or about him?
I did just, I'll cash this in whenever. No big thanks. For, like, it seems like we're less friends and more business associates. And I don't like that part of the transaction.
Oh,
you know? Yeah.
You should, well, maybe he'll give you like an apple pie next time.
I hope so. I paid $2,000 for it this month. Let's see. Yesterday was Tuesday, but like Sarah Jessica Parker, I don't teach my kids the word fat. So it was a bigger Tuesday. And then we're going to have Lent for 40 days. Easter's right around the corner. And I guarantee that perhaps you know the dad saga. My dad wrote my ex-wife out of the blue. So then I catfished my dad and he ended up hitting on me. But with that said, at keithandthegirl.com/dad, the whole story's there. He now knows it was me, but he's still trying to deny it. Like he did have a conversation with my ex. Like there's things you don't know. I'm like, I know everything. It's in literal black and white. In fact, we're making a book on it right now. You can see everything, keithandthegirl.com/dad. I guarantee for Easter, he'll still send an email that goes, seriously though, happy Easter.
Oh, I can't with this because every time you bring it up, I picture a person where this is the first time they're hearing of the saga, at all. And you just said those words. And I'm like, those words can't mean anything else. So I would have to sit there like, right. Am I hearing this right? You catfished your father. He ended up hitting on you. You ended up telling him that you did that. And he's still pretending he doesn't know.
You can't admit it. You can't. It's so disgusting. He can never admit it, even if I have the proof.
That math, it doesn't check out. It doesn't check out. Like if this was a movie, I'd be like, oh, why didn't you make something else up? Okay.
Right.
Oh, did they all lose their cell phones? Like just shit like that. Just like, oh my God. Is this a ghost? I don't know. Right. Were we sleeping the whole time?
We're celebrating the 17th anniversary of Keith and the Girl. How about that? We said, write to info@keithandthegirl.com. Tell us what hit you over all the time you've been listening. Maybe it is the dad story that excited you. A live event. Did we get to meet you? What happened that day? 17 years. That's a lot.
Yeah. Why did you get that Keith and the Girl tattoo? Even if we've heard it before.
Dear Chemda and Keith, this is an example from Roberta. Dear Chemda and Keith, and of course all the behind the scenes folks. Heart emoji. I honestly don't have enough of the correct or right words to describe what my journey has been through the last 5-ish years of listening, plus all the bonus VIP episodes and your entire bank of episodes from day one. But each and every one of you and your guests continue to be the brightest spot in my day. Smiley face emoji. Peace and love from Iowa. Heart emoji. Roberta, P.S. My favorite Chemda word is poon.
Fantastic.
Oh, my goodness.
That's
and my
exciting.
favorite Keith word is, oh, wells. Then they rate, bah, ha, 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 ha. Tongue face emoji, heart emoji, tongue face emoji. So thank you, Roberta. That was
You said you didn't have the words, but you did have the emoticons. Good on you.
Right. Let's see. Each one of these little hearts is 1,000 words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Athletic greens. People are telling me that I serve them well. That they know about athletic greens. They're starting their day with athletic greens like I do, like Xerxes does. And where, Chemda doesn't mind asparagus and salad and Brussels sprouts. I do. I want to drink that stuff down right in the morning. It doesn't taste bad at all. And boom, I'm flying. I'm flying.
Xerxes makes fun of me because I'm like, no, I really like broccoli. And he goes, okay, so when you go to a party and there's broccoli, you're thrilled. And I'm like, yeah, all right, but like, I'm happy it's there as well. He's like, okay, so when you were a child and you went to a party and they said to you, come on, are you sure you don't want to go? There's going to be broccoli. I'm like, I see what you're saying.
Right.
It's like, what? That's not a fun food. I'm like, it's fun for me. He goes, you didn't want to go to the party. It's broccoli. What happened?
Yeah, a company's not saying, finally, you can drink cake. No, we don't have that problem with cake. I have that problem with the salad. And in fact, I dump cake on my salad. That's how I eat it. Not now. Not with athletic greens. All the nutrients. By the way, this is just a reenactment because I already started my day with it. So this is actually water right now, but this is how I do it. Love it. I love it. I'm a big fan. Here's how you do it. athleticgreens.com/KATG. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Flu season, cold season, COVID, nuclear winter. Lots going on, and you got to stay healthy. It's just one scoop of Athletic Greens and water. I shake it up, I drink it, I love it. They're going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D if you act now, and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Again, athleticgreens.com/KATG. Okay. Today's guest. Oh, do I love her? Yeah. Am I in love? I can't say. But I think you're in for a treat. She's been featured on Caroline's Storytellers. She won the show. She's been on the Risk podcast, NBC's First Look. Kat Ramzinski. Hello, Kat.
Hello. I was trying so hard not to laugh. Why, you guys? I was just dying. First of all, I fucking love broccoli, and I do get excited about broccoli and ranch, and I love spinach dip. So I'm not against anything Kemda said.
So like Keith said, you like to put a cake on your salad.
I'll put a cake. I'll put a pie. I'll put it all. I'll make a salad cake. I don't care. It's delicious.
This is what I'm saying. Well, this is a healthy alternative, but yeah. I see what you're saying. Sure.
Do they make a healthy alternative to spinach dip? Because that shit's delicious. But
that's the fourth ingredient, but without the dip part.
Okay. Well, the dip is what I go for.
Well, you'll see. You'll see what I'm talking about.
I'm so excited to be here. You guys are so this is crazy to me. You guys are so I don't know, characters. It's like being in an episode of It's Always Sunny. It's weird. I watch you guys from a distance talk to people, and I'm like, look at them. I just love you guys. I think your dynamic is so good. It's fun.
What was going through your head when you heard the dad email saga in real time?
First of all, you need to know I did try to show it to my dad and my mom. And I have two dads. I have Polish dad who's in Poland. He looks like this. And I think he's like a spy. He barely laughs at anything. He only laughs when I do Borat impressions. He doesn't find anything funny. And then my other dad's a hillbilly redneck, hardcore conservative from the South, who's basically Hank Hill. And I have tried to tell both of them this situation, and they can't hear past email. They don't right. One still has a Prodigy account. So to me, I just think that story, I lose it. Because it was 2011 when I first, or 2010 when I first started listening to y'all. And I don't know if that shit had started yet, but it was going down eventually after that. And so I would check in just kind of for that, what's going on with the dad. And I don't remember exactly what was in one email, but it fucked me up. Can I cuss? Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, you're encouraged to. Yeah.
It fucked my soul up for months. It was beyond euphoria shit to me. And I don't remember the exact phrasing, but it was the first time he flirted with you. Right.
I'm a very beautiful and a desirous woman. And then later on, I made my dad's quote libido jingle.
Yes, I think it was libido. It was something about the idea of this guy's gonna try to fuck his son. It was.
I was nervous that I'd end up having to fuck him. I was a little scared about that because you don't know where it's gonna go. It got so crazy.
You could have done a whole Chris Hansen thing with this. That would have been where you step out and you're like, I see you brought wine coolers, Dad.
Right. There's things you don't know. These wine coolers are actually for.
Yeah. And also, what does your mom have to say about all this?
Well, she did the best she could to survive, and she gave herself Alzheimer's, and now she literally can't speak. So there's no need to follow her up on this because she can't communicate. And I think subconsciously, at least, I think she did it to herself deliberately.
I was so focused in on the dad shit. I never even thought how did this affect the rest of his family? And I think you talked about it at one point. Was it do you have a sister?
Yeah, I have 3 brothers and a sister. Yeah.
What?
They love it.
I like that we're doing this clairvoyant style. I see a sister.
Do I see a sister?
I think
A, B, C. Stop me when I get there.
Did you have to talk to him and communicate with the dad and keep your mouth shut and say nothing?
I sent to my siblings, I sent them the link, and they're disgusted by it, but don't really want to talk about it.
I'd be all over it.
Yeah, of course I would. I wouldn't. How do you go? That's interesting. Like, know your dad and somehow stay alive. And I think they don't know how to really process it. And I guess I can't blame them.
I just imagine talking to my own brother and being like, Kevin, are you trying to fuck dad? Like, it's just so weird to me. I love it, though. Keep it going forever. Legally speaking, though, can he do anything about the book? Like,
he threatened to sue. And then I made up that I was a lawyer saying, hey, I'm going to help you sue for free because what Keith's doing is so disgusting. And then he said, well, actually, if Jesus Christ can forgive and people did all that stuff to him, then who is he to sue his own son? So he knows nothing can happen. I would love it.
Go to court.
Go to court. I get a bonus chapter. Let's go to court. Absolutely. Absolutely be a dream come true. Yeah.
They're going to have to sit up there. The burden of proof of I don't want to fuck my son is on him. So now he's got to have counsel sitting there. Imagine you get a Nancy Grace type. I'm not saying me, but I'm saying I'll go get ordained at a law school, whatever I have to do online. Imagine telling a jury, this man's trying to fuck his son. And them taking his side, they would just feel gross. You would have to dress like how what was their, I can't believe I always talk about them, the brothers who killed their dad. And I'm blanking right now.
The tennis brothers. Yeah.
Yes. I have their picture behind me right there. It's they're on a basketball card. Did y'all know that?
I didn't know that, believe it or not. Menendez, yes.
They went to a basketball game that night as an alibi to try to establish one. And it's the marker. What's his name? I can't even remember. But that card, the guy's playing basketball in the background of his rookie card is Menendez brothers. And I just picture someone having to go there and say, like, listen, the burden of proof is on you. Prove you don't want to fuck your son. And then they look over and then it's Keith with a little bow tie. And he's just playing down his age like the Menendez brothers did, like trying to seem more palatable to the jury. The whole thing. I just want to read the transcript. I think that'd be so great.
It'd be funny to be I trick him and he thinks he has a lawyer. And then I walk in and I go, oh no, I'm the lawyer. Oh boy.
And you know what? Some people might be bummed because, Keith might finish this book. We might release it already by the time that court situation even starts to begin. Here's something to remember. There's the Old Testament and there's the New Testament.
Sure.
And all of this is very relatable. So
they all work on each other also. Yeah.
We're going to kill you with locusts at the end of this. That's what your dad's going to, your dad's going to fuck you with some locusts, dude. You got to look out. This is some biblical shit you're getting involved in.
By the way, speaking of, is it your birth dad? Do you say birth dad? I know you don't say real dad.
I say bio dad, but people think I'm saying robot dad. So I always have to clarify. He's just from Poland. My mom banged the, what do you call it? Foreign exchange student tie. He was a refugee back when Russia did this shit the first time in Poland. Right. And so then he had to go bye-bye for a while. Didn't know where he was. Found him when I was 25. So I've got him and then my stepdad, whose name is Mike Jordan. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but it's funny because he's a white guy. He looks like Nacho Libre, but his name's Michael Jordan.
I'll represent you in court. Don't worry.
Yeah. So we'll call him on the microphone at Walmart just to see everybody run to the front. And
what do you mean by he had to go away for a little bit?
Well, I come from a very interesting family full of very, very batshit crazy women. And let's just say that there was a big miscommunication. We'll say that. And he didn't really know he knew I was around, but he didn't know I was alive. Let's just say that. And then my mom thought that he took off, but he didn't because somebody told him, hey, you're good. Just go. She doesn't want to see you anymore. So it was a big, fucked up situation, but it worked out for the best because my stepdad rules. And then my biological dad, I love him so much. But honestly, we have so much in common. I feel like if we did know each other growing up, we'd probably hate each other now. So like now it's just weird. We're so much alike that it's like, I'll literally think like I should call him today and see how he's doing. And then the phone will ring. Like it's fucking weird. Now I don't believe in that shit.
Which is really good communication right now. Somehow you like crossed over into clairvoyancy again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering about the initial miscommunication. Can we get like a topic of conversation that might have been misunderstood? Is it a physical misunderstanding? Is it a financial misunderstanding? Is it you were my only one misunderstanding?
It's my mom was like a teenager and my grandma had 3 other kids. So it's my mom and her 3 sisters or 4 technically, because my grandma's pregnant and my mom's pregnant at the same time. So imagine you're a teen mom and your mom's pregnant. So they're both pregnant and she's on essentially they're on this like Catholic program. I don't remember it. I wasn't born yet, but I know that they were in like a Catholic program and they brought refugees here. And my grandma's really hot. Like to this day, she's like in her 70s. She's like Sophia Loren. She doesn't age. So when her and my mom's a teen, she's like 30. They like looked exactly alike, you know? And my grandma's like, she's like trying to wet off her daughter, like all Catholic moms do. Like, you should go date that guy, you know? And then my mom does and gets knocked up. And my grandma's like, you knocked my daughter up, get the fuck away type of situation. And so my mom's just like, he took off, bye. And then, you know, she's like, I can't get a hold of him. I don't know. And like, he didn't really speak good English and he was new to the country. They didn't really know like where he was. And so then when I find him years later, he's like, hey, you know, you got to forgive everybody for that. That was just a misunderstanding. Like, he's like, I thought that you were like, he's like, I heard that you were born. And then I said in my broken way, let's get a paternity test. Because in Poland, that's what they do. It's like, okay, let's make sure this is my kid because we're young. But to my super Catholic military grandmother, that's like basically saying that's not my kid. Like, she doesn't see it like, you know, oh, how wonderful, he wants to be sure. She sees it as like, this motherfucker's trying to get away. Fine, go. Like, you know, kind of like ran him off.
So he blames it on the grandma.
He does not. He blames himself because he's like, I should have found you because he kept trying and he couldn't. Right. And so he talked to a couple of people who essentially like lied to him. They weren't family members. They were like people who were from that church or whatever. And they were just like, oh, she got adopted out type of thing. Or, you know, she didn't make it type of thing. And so then he's like, well, that's conflicting stories. Now I'm going to keep looking a little. And he, you know, he tried his best, but it was hard for him because he was learning the language and, you know, learning how to be here. And then my grandmother, it was hard for her because, you know, she's just like all of us in my family. We got some mental problems and she's just trying to like get along with any guy that, you know, every husband she had was a piece of shit. So, and part of me is like, man, well, aren't we all? So it's a situation where like, she's on like she's trying to make her new marriage work. She's got, you know, 3 daughters she's raising on her own. She's a military woman. She's super Catholic. She's a nurse at the time. And she's just, it's like literally a house of like 5 women. And it was all just very interesting because I grew up in an environment where we were kind of poor, but everybody made something of each other. And it was all in the field of like nursing, teaching, and military. But
did they pretend it was a virgin birth?
You know, it's so funny, but I meet so many of my friends who are adopted and they're in comedy, you know, and I've helped some of them try to find their parents. And it's kind of interesting because all of them, it's the same story. It's like, you know, back in the 80s, if you got pregnant, you had to be ashamed or you had to like make a big deal of it. And now there's shows that like glorify it, like Teen Mom and stuff, which I love. And so I'm just like, I don't really get why. Like, it was a situation where it's like, you know, we're trying to keep it super Catholic. And it's like, you know, I'm going to get tattoos and smoke a lot of pot when I grow up, right? They didn't know that. So I feel like they wouldn't have made such a big deal out of it. I really don't get it. I'm not like super religious like the rest of my family. And I'm not like, I mean, they're chill as fuck. I love them all. They're a little crazy, but I love them. My mom's sweet as hell, but she was just trying to make it work. It was a struggle. I don't really know how to explain
a lot of forgiveness and good for you. But yeah,
I'm
over here as a
with it.
listener, I'm like, okay, if she says she's happy, good.
No, it's cool because before I went from no dads till I was 14 to 2 dads. And I went from no siblings growing up to lots of siblings. So it's super weird. Like I have a stepbrother now. I have a half brother, a half sister. And then I don't know if you call it like a double half. It's like my stepmom's son. So I've got all these different siblings now. And then growing up, it was just me and my mom. So it's super weird. Like I lived in a house with all women, but when we moved out on our own, we were in the country in Sutherland Springs. And that's where I grew up most of my life, which I don't know if you guys know the name of that town, but that's where that mass shooting was, the church shooting.
Okay. You can understand though if I get confused by which one's which.
There's so many. It was the one in Texas. It was like 30 people in a tiny church. The town has like 200 people in it. And we're like, a tenth of the population is my family. Right. So such a small town in the middle of nowhere. So I went from being very kind of isolated.
Are you in a small town right now?
Hell no. I'm in Austin, Texas. And I am
moving on up.
Yeah, I've been here I think it's like 17 years or something. And I love it.
Do you have a gun?
No, so back home on our farm down in Sutherland Springs, there's like everybody has guns. Like I could go to my dad right now and be like, give me a gun. He'd give me a gun, but I don't like them. They're too loud.
Is your bio dad, he's in Poland right now?
Yeah, he actually just went back 2 days. He has the worst fucking timing.
This is timing.
Like
yeah.
He's like, hey, I think I'm going to Poland to see my sister. And I'm like, that's a bad idea. Like there's like a war. And he's like, hey, it's no big. And I'm just like, what, dude? But I respond to him the way I feel like my other family responds to me. Like it's just like, what are you doing this for? Like when I started comedy, that's kind of how they were. But like with my bio dad, like any decision he makes, I'm like, why are you doing this, dude? Like, going to Poland on the day the war starts in the Ukraine,
cheap flights.
A good idea. Very cheap flights. He said it took 18 hours.
Does he feel at all that he has to go over there and help fight? Not that I understand how you sneak your way in only to turn around and fight back out, but he doesn't, no interest.
No, he's fleeing Texas. Frankly, he's in a much worse situation. No, I'm just kidding. Right. He went over there because I don't know how it works, but like my aunt, I don't even know if I should say this, but my aunt's getting a divorce, his sister. And in Poland, you have to have people like testify, like on your behalf and stuff. So he's
otherwise you stay married. Like now you don't, you guys don't know that it's actually working out.
Yeah. The judge is just like, convince me, and it's like, okay, like we fight a lot. I hate him. Like, I don't know.
Wow.
It's weird. They have to go to court. So like, he flew over there to go to court for that. But I did think at first when he's like, I'm going to Poland. I'm like, oh shit, you're going to do that shit? Like, yeah, hell yeah. But
wow. I feel like if I flew to help get my brother's divorce, I feel like just my flight out there, I'm like, Your Honor, this is how bad he wants a divorce.
Right.
I flew in here. Like, exactly. I'm going to charge him for this. And this is how bad he wants it. Wow. To testify. Yeah. That's so invasive. It's like, hey guys, I'm just going to need you to swear that we suck together. Like, just remember that fight that we had like 4th of July, that one time, and you were all pretending like it wasn't happening, but obviously we ruined your day. Can you tell that / other stories? It's like, oh, Keith and the Girl is celebrating 17 years. Let us know what you thought.
It's so weird. Like, and you think about it here in Texas, I'm sure in a lot of places, like the stalking laws and stuff, if someone's like stalking you, you have to go to court and you have to face them. And if someone like attacks you, you have to go to court and you have to face them. So it's like you have to face your accuser and stuff. But like those people, if it's like a stalking situation or a random attack, they don't know each other. And the fact that like you got two people who live together who are on paper and you still have to do that is just so weird to me.
Yeah, but like, what's good about the stalking one is, your stalker is definitely going to show up. So
yeah, totally. They want to see you again.
This is up the calendar. Yeah, they're right behind you. It's like, oh, is he going to come? Yeah,
it's so weird.
He's behind that pillar over there, Your Honor.
I'm always just like, why are we putting these people in rooms together again? Like, it just feels very Jerry Springer. I wish all courts were just Zoom and shit so I could watch them. You guys do that? You go on YouTube and watch all the court hearings?
I've heard of it, but I'm not sure where to go. And good, that would just take up too much time anyway. I'd rather not know where you go.
Yeah, I want to watch the movie version because I hear the real court is very boring.
Oh,
a
it's
lot
boring,
of people are on mute and shit. I'm like, yeah, wait until.
Yeah, get the highlights. Yeah.
Well, you got to go to the good ones though, like because the small my favorites are everybody's looking at the Oxford shooter and all these big ones now. But I go to the tiniest county I can find in the most hillbilly backwoods fuck place, like West Virginia, somewhere in a holler. And they're required to do the Zoom court, but they don't have the internet. So most of it is them figuring out the sound and audio. And I could sit there and watch that like hours. Like a judge with the kitty ears. And he's like, I'm not a cat. Have you seen that?
God damn it. Yeah. I'm a judge. Meow.
I'm not a cat. Love it so much.
I have a war update, by the way. This is shocking news. A lot of sick shit going on. And listen to this. Remember the other day we said Pornhub said, hey, if you're in Russia, you're getting literally cock blocked. We're not letting Russians. This is our sanctions. We're not letting Russians go to our website. They're letting Russians go to the website just fine. That's not true. Reasoning? No, there's no reason. They just lied. They said they can't access it. They can. They just lied for our benefit. So I'm like, I'm supporting a good cause.
I mean, they should have never made that. They should have never made that made that statement at all. Because first of all, Russians are like the kings and queens of VPNs. Like they're gonna get around it. Like they're gonna.
You're right.
And simultaneous, like they basically invented the virtual private network. And then you look at like dark web, deep web shit, half of it's coming from fucking Russia. Like you don't get to control that. Like that's literally, they're beyond us. And then
you know what? I think they're trying to prove Pornhub is like, we don't get canceled. We can say whatever we want. This was a big fat lie. Right. What you gonna do? Protest? Because this you can actually protest. Good luck.
Yeah, also, I want you to, if you protest us, and I'll just tell everybody that you Googled how do I fuck my underage sister.
But also
no, should we just let it go? Okay, we'll just let it go.
Let them fucking beat off so they're not so fucking mad.
Right.
Like, why are you taking away their beat off material? That's the one thing that chills them out. Like if you
I was saying the same thing and then Xerxes is like, you think they're going to be able to find other porn? Because I think so. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Right.
They're going to make other porn. They're going to go out there and they're going, with the fucking Kalashnikovs and shit. Let them make we'll get some cool ass Russian porn out of this, if anything.
I still use Pornhub, but when the woman gives me a countdown when I should come, I don't follow it. I finish it like 5, 4. Hey, fuck you, Pornhub.
I like the idea of a guy going 10 and then he just blasts off. He doesn't even get that.
Gotcha. Is it so your stepdad, you said he's very conservative.
Very. Him and my mom, which my mom used to not be. She used to be very like, you're a woman, you can do anything. Like very like women wear the best and these guys they're all dicks, they don't get it. And then as soon as my stepdad laid it down, she was like, what's up, Trump?
I love that that's conservative. Like now that she's conservative, women can't do everything.
Mm-mm.
Right.
Now it's like, just let him go. We don't question it. And I'm like, what? And I just want to fight all the time. I'm like, I think one of the funniest moments, my stepdad and me get into it. We get into some arguments, but it's draining, but it's fun because I don't have anyone to fight with that dramatically. Like, again, I hate to go back to Teen Mom, but the fights they have, that's the shit we get into. And I know it's not healthy, but it's so funny to me looking back because I get these great moments I can like talk about on stage. I'm like harvesting for material. Like I'm over here. I told him I was voting for Beto and he kicked the fucking chair like in front of everyone. I like it. He was like, Beto, and he just boom, chair goes flying. And I was just laughing my ass off. Like, that's so funny to me. Like, I get a rise out of him. And to me, it's like, I talk to other comics and they're like, oh, yeah, I told my dad this. He kicked me out on the side of the road. I'm like, mine kicked a fucking chair. Like, it's just fun. talk about their reactions.
No, that does sound fun. That sounds like a good time. Even just the words liberal and conservative. If you look up liberal, that in any dictionary.com you use, willing to respect or accept behavior or opinions different from one's own, open to new ideas. Number 2, relating or denoting a political and social philosophy that promotes individual rights, civil liberties, democracy, and free enterprise. You look up conservative, averse to change or innovation and holding traditional values. Number 2, favoring free enterprise, private ownership, and socially traditional ideas. One of those sounds like you're a fucking dork.
I mean, they both do. Like, the way I look at it is all liberal means is, hey, I'm going to do this rowdy, fucked up, dirty, nasty, fucking human pagan shit in front of you. And you have to deal with it. And being conservative is, I'm going to fucking lie to you about it and you're going to deal with it. And then that's it. That's it. They're both doing horrifying things. They're both bad. Like, we're all bad. We're all pieces of shit. The problem is half the world is like, nah, I'm not. And then the other half is like, yeah, I am, but you're much worse because you lie about it. And it's like, nah, we're all still doing it in the end. Like, a lot of Republican, Christian conservatives end up fucking kids or like, coming out of the closet later in life and then lying about it still, like not even purposeful. Like a sex tape comes out, this guy likes to suck dick. Oh, that's so bad. It's like, so what? Just let him suck dick. Like, and it's the same, like if he just was open about it, just so what? Like, we don't need to bust him.
That's going to be our new motto, just in general, the U.S. Let them suck dick.
Just let them all suck the dick. Who cares if it's each other? But the problem is one is actively fighting against. You know what I mean? When you're actively fighting against the thing you're doing publicly, that's the problem.
That is the problem.
Me, it's like, just everybody come out with it. Obviously, a lot of people are doing illegal shit. They're not going to, but they're always going to be doing illegal shit. I don't get it. I'm a centrist, I think. I don't know. I get a lot of shit for that. Like, people say that's bad, but I'm like, listen, I like, shooting a gun, but I don't want to shoot someone in the face. And I don't think crazy people should have them. You know what I mean?
Is it me, or shooting a gun is fun, but I'd like to avoid shooting him in the face?
Yeah.
Hey, here's a poll. Is it me? Or when I shoot my guns, I'm not aiming at someone's face.
I'm just not aiming at people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to shoot at the ground. But at the same time, like, let me put it this way. One of the reasons I don't own a gun is because I have mental problems. So I have the common sense to go, I shouldn't have that. Because if I get depressed, or if I get mad, I might try to kill someone or myself. Very basic shit. And a lot of people hear that and they go, don't say that. And it's like, why? I'm being honest with you. Like, I don't think I should have one because I get night terrors and sometimes I scratch myself. That's good enough. I don't need to.
They say that because they don't want spoilers. Don't say that.
Yeah, they already have it ready on Facebook. We missed you. We loved you. You're such a good person.
What a surprise.
It's so weird to me that people, and then you got people who are like, nobody should have guns. But it's like, man, if you met half the people from my hometown, it's like, just find where they hid them. Like, there's going to be a lot of them out there and it sucks. But I'm like, just regulate the shit. Who cares? Like, meet in the middle. And then people go, nah, it's bad. It's a centrist. And I'm like, well, what? Then I give up.
I think people don't like centrists because it sounds like they gave up. Like, it's easy to say everybody's fucking
What's
up.
wrong with giving up?
Because one side to me is worse than the other. When in the House, there was an anti-lynching bill that got passed.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
The Emmett Till anti-lynching bill. 3 Republicans voted against it. They said, but can't we do case by case when it comes to lynching? I know that. So no situation requires lynching. None whatsoever. That's a little too much for me. That's why I like
the only thing I can back up. The only thing I can back up with that is if they tried to lynch Trump or like Putin, I'd be like, fucking get him, dude. Other than that, can't think of anyone. So I get what you're saying, but they are.
Yeah, but you can't just say that because then you're on the side of lynching. It's
I know.
I'm not into murder except for Trump. You're into murder because by the end of your life, you might not like someone. So are you into murder or not? That's what's hard about taking a side is, always understanding that some shit can come up and make you so angry. But
I think
conservatives were heckling the State of the Union. Now, I've seen this boring piece of shit. So good. That's exciting stuff. Well, it's a halftime show. It's exciting. Mm-hmm. But I never thought I would see that. I also never thought I'd see a Capitol riot. Sure, that's fair.
That was fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, but we do things too. Liberals do things too. You know?
Big time.
Coming to me right now, but big time. Here's big news.
But I just want to clarify though, real quick. I do think I do get in those fights because I guess I'm more liberal. Like I'm not trying to come out here and like justify. I fucking hate conservative shit like Donald Trump. I hate what they've done to my family. You know what I mean? I hate that my parents have own news network because Fox is too liberal. That shit fucks with me at night. I don't like it. Simultaneously, if my parents were screaming neoliberal or whatever the word, like these neoliberal, you know, and using just fucking weird words and going around like, you know, making me eat vegan soy juice, I'd be fucking pissed. So like, but I'm more pissed at the atrocity shit. Like just the whole, like the shit that putting babies in cages and shit at the border.
You're not down for that? You don't like that? Yeah, but yes, I bring up the Capitol riot, but then on the other side with liberals, I'm supposed to celebrate a dog's birthday. Get the fuck, it's both sides have their own fucking problems.
Wait, what dog's birthday?
Well, you don't really know liberals, I guess. Anyway,
what happened?
Don't worry about it. Anyway, speaking of, I don't want to talk about it. It's very traumatic.
Okay.
I had to act like the dog was a person. It's a whole fucking thing.
There's a mayor dog, though. There's a dog that's a mayor.
See, you know that's a liberal agenda. Get the fuck out of here. Now I got to follow the laws of a dog. Hey, can I divorce my wife? What is he saying?
They put a tie on him and everything. It's fucked
up. But speaking of sanctions, the World Taekwondo industry, they're called World Taekwondo. They announced that Putin's status as an ambassador for the International Judo Federation is over. He is no longer a black belt in Taekwondo. And I don't know how they take that knowledge away, but he is no longer a black belt. Gotcha. And that's good in case he decides to fight too. He can't, but that's big news. I'm excited.
I didn't know he was.
That means he can't.
It's not a gift to get a black belt.
You earn it, right?
You like you said, you know stuff, and then somebody goes, yes, you know that amount of stuff, and then they give you a color belt based on what you know. So yeah, are you taking away his actual physical belt?
It'd be like my band teacher says, hey, I heard you're fucking your dad. You know what? Your trumpet skills gone. Maybe you can earn them back, but I don't see how at this rate.
Don't they give honorary? Wait, don't they give honorary doctorates? Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's Harvard. Stupid.
Yeah, it's dumb as fuck. So they're doing that. I don't think Putin earned that belt, though. Can you picture that man doing karate?
I think I saw a picture. There was a still picture, but I saw him fighting a bear. So probably, yeah.
Is that really him fighting a bear?
Did you picture him as lazy?
No, I pictured him as kind of like, he's like, somebody go kill someone for me. And then that's it. Like, I don't picture him doing shit. He's got a lot of money. Like, why would he do it's like Vince McMahon. Like, why are you in there wrestling at WrestleMania this year? You are a billionaire.
I don't know. Maybe this was like when he was 18.
Right.
Well, is it? Well, okay. Well, then this brings a new question. Is karate forever? Like, if you're a black belt when you're 18, do you still get to be a black belt when you're 70? Can you still do those moves?
Do you still have a driver's license?
Exactly, though. But your shit,
the test.
It deteriorates and they take it away eventually. At what point does your belt get taken back?
When you start a war in the Ukraine.
Yeah. So this is him sparring and he's losing. So take your black belt. I agree with it.
Hey, by the way, you're
losing anything.
You are a huge pro wrestling fan. Is that correct?
Huge. You should. Oh, I wish I could turn the camera around. Actually, most of this is wrestling shit, but behind me,
on your wall. What is it with comics and wrestling? Why do comics love wrestlers?
Because there's a very clear good guy and bad guy, a baby face and a heel, right?
Right.
That's the dream. Because comics, I think, we're overthinkers. We overthink so much that we have to expel it from our brains and say it. And
you overthink so much that you think you're in a deep end.
Yeah, it's like we're drowning in thoughts and personalities and people who needed attention because, you know, we all had some fucked up, weird childhood shit. And we all just want to yell at each other about it and compare it and pick it apart. And I think it gets to a point, like earlier I said, I feel like a centrist because there's some things I agree on and some things I can't on both sides, you know, but one's obviously worse than the other. That's how life and comedy is all the time. So I am always begging, show me a character that is 100% a piece of shit. Show me someone who 100% rules. Because, like, for example, that's why this war, I think, is so thrilling to everybody in a sense that we have a guy we can get behind. Like, people love Zelensky. They're like, especially because compared to Putin, oh yeah, he's the good one. And the fact that both a lot of conservatives, even my mom's like, oh, Zelensky's hot and that fucking Putin guy sucks. Like, even both of them can agree. It's like the Westboro Baptist Church. We all needed someone we can all hate. With 9/11, we all needed to be sad at the same time. We just need a common bond to make us feel good. And with wrestling, every fucking match is, here's your good guy, here's your bad guy. There is no question. Listen to the chanting. Go fight, and then you get to. I
think you just broke the matrix.
Yeah, when you see a movie, and sometimes these don't happen too often, but sometimes it's like, wait a minute, am I rooting for this guy or not? That's the bane of your existence. You'd rather a simple movie. Is that correct?
It's not the bane. It's just everywhere. Like we were talking about Euphoria earlier. Euphoria, like my homegirl Martha Kelly. Shout outs to her. She's in it. She plays one of the most evil women ever. But her personality in it, they make you like her at first. And then Rue, the main character, they make you like her. And then she does all this dickish shit. Breaking Bad, they make you like him. And then he fucking becomes a meth hat. Weeds, oh, she's such a hot mom trying to sell weed. She's cool. And then it's like, why is the mayor of Mexico smacking her ass? Like, it's everything. You're just sitting there like, whoa, like, oh, I thought Trump was just a fucking reality TV guy. Oh, no, he's trying to kill us and he's hurting babies. And then like Biden, like, he's just an old guy talking about corn pop, leave him alone. But then at the same time, it's like, can you please help these fuckers and like wake the fuck up, dude? So like everybody, it's mixed, you know? And so for me, I'm sitting here going, okay, it's not the bane. It's just something that I'm always seeing. And people don't like to be tricked sometimes. And when you get tricked, it's thrilling. But when it's something that hits you emotionally, it's like, come on, enough. Like, I don't want to have to work through constantly overthinking why someone did this and what I like and having to defend my choice. But with wrestling, it's like, fuck no that tricks. Guy. No trick. Well, that's when
they could, Kat, clean under the ring sometimes, right? We could admit that.
There is some asbestos going on in many a ring, and the Sportatorium had to be torn down in Dallas for it. The Von Erich, everybody gets MRSA. It's fun. It's a good
just to
time.
Be clear, I meant more ladders and chairs and chainsaws.
Yeah.
Did they let people in those buildings like open the doors? No, I'm not cleaned up yet. Well, we opened the door and they're like, shove everything under the ring. Let's hope they don't find it.
We go to a lot of death matches. We go to a lot of death matches. We go to a lot of WWE straight up. It's almost like conservative and liberal. Over here, you've got the super death match underground people, the CZW hardcore wrestling fans, the Juggalos even. And then over here, you've got Vincent Kennedy McMahon, sports entertainment. We don't call it wrestling. It's like comic books almost too. Like you've got there's a lexicon of language. There's the whole idea of kayfabe, like we're all pretending together. And the fun part is you could just blame it on the kids. We're doing it for the kids, but really you want to believe it. You know, it's fun. It's like cosplay and D&D, but you're not a fucking nerd because you fight. Like it's so stupid. I love it.
Did any of your parents say, hey, wrestling's fake? You should know that. My dad did that to me. It's like, why? Why would you say that? First of all, I see them flip. I see them falling down. It looks pretty real. Okay. So somebody's bleeding. Okay. I think that happened. But okay. You're trying to say the stories are fake and they're really friends. Who gives a shit? Why are you trying to ruin the only show I like?
Let me enjoy. Like, first of all, like, I let you believe that Archie Bunker was a badass when really he was kind of a dick and a dirty old man. You know, I let you believe that, you know, Charles in Charge was hot. No, he wasn't. Ew.
Yeah.
Like,
I let you believe you don't have a daughter.
Exactly.
It's like, can you not keep pushing?
I let you believe that, like, you know, first of all, there are so many things in the world that we are willing to suspend disbelief for. Look at Donald Trump. Like, how far a whole generation of all of our parents went. Like, listen, I'll go to the ends of the earth for this motherfucker who had this show called The Apprentice, when you goddamn well know they never watched that shit. And now they'll buy everything. So I'm sitting there going, okay, like, that's me with wrestling. Like, I know Vincent Kennedy McMahon's a jerk. I know his wife, Linda, was on Donald Trump's cabinet acting as the secretary of the Small Business Administration. Right. I also know that she left because he took her parking spot away from her. There's shit about Linda that I can get behind. I'm not going to lie about that. But at the same time, are they an evil, wealthy family? And does the money that I contribute to that organization go directly to Saudi royals who are probably going to stone women to death? Yes, it is. But do I like the Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt? And is it on sale? Yes, it is. I'm American.
You're a centrist.
I'm wearing Adidas all day.
Whoa, what is
I dream about stuff.
And how did we get here?
I'm just saying, wrestling is everything, dude. It's an economy. It's a prison. It's it's an art form. It's everything. And I get to see dudes fucking packages. And
how high are you?
Shit. Not so high.
I assume these words are making sense to somebody. I have to assume.
There's just so much about it. They're telling a story with their body. I love it. I absolutely love it.
In the I brought up the Risk podcast, and you're fantastic on it. It's
amazing.
Was fairly recently, and you talk about getting beaten up in what appears to be a gang initiation.
That sucked.
Yeah. People jump out of a car and they try to fight you, and then you're like,
that was a real bummer. Yeah.
I do like your point. We're like, but I kicked this one girl's ass. Am I in the gang now?
And that was true too. And what's fucked up too is I got the FOIA request back after, like, it'd been like 5 years.
Sorry, the what back?
The FOIA request, the Freedom of Information Act. I had to, You can't just go get your case file if you're a victim. You have to, like, write to the government and be like, hi, I got beat up at this time on this day at this place. And if you're a minute off, they're like, oh, we can't find it. So you have to, like, keep resending it. And then finally, when they find your shit, they're like, oh yeah, here's all your shit. Here's your 911 call. Here's everything. And then you can look through it, and they're supposed to redact all of the information for basically the suspect and yourself, like, depending on who gets it, you know, like if they ordered it, which they couldn't, but if somebody like in a journalist ordered it, they would redact both of our names. But for me, they should have redacted theirs and they didn't. So now I go fuck with them. Like, I know exactly who it is. And I'm like,
are you, or have you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you, like, what? Like, send pizza to their house?
I found out that there's like a NAMBLA. It's like the National Man Boy Love Association. Do you know about that? It's like for
Well, I don't know about it, but
you know about it, Keith? Does your dad? No, it's called NAMBLA, and I found out you could sign up people for like like they get, and these are like hardcore gang members that like are in jail gangs, and so they're getting pedo literature in each other's name. What if
by doing that, NAMBLA actually would have no members? It's just people trying to be cruel, and it looks like fucking boys is a real thing, but it's not. It's just people trying to get back at other people for various things.
That is the nicest version of our world, Keith.
Thank you.
It's not happening.
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, I don't even know what you said because it was so dumb, Keith. Like, no, people are like, they're not like that. They're bad. People are bad. We're all bad, but they're like way bad. And like, also, I will.
But then on the other side, heteros aren't peachy either sometimes, right?
No. Right, but like, I mean, it could be, it could be women-girl love, but I just didn't see that online when I Googled it.
Right.
But I do other stuff. Like, one thing that I did was one time I threw an egg. Like, I went by and I was like, I have eggs that I'm taking home with groceries. I ended up having to go around to like pick up a prescription, and I was in that neighborhood, and I drove by, and I mean, they don't use the van. It was someone else's van, but I did
that they jumped out of. Okay.
Yeah. But I saw vehicles that were there in the Google Maps that from back then. So I knew it was still them. It was still their listed address. I do like some sort of like private PI work background check stuff for a company I work for. And I'm starting to like try to get certified in that. So I've been doing this for years. Like I find people's missing relatives, shit like that, just for fun. Right. So for them, I know where they are at all times.
So you egged their house? What was the egg story?
Yeah, I just threw an egg. I don't know where it went. Honestly, like, I'm not going to say I egged their house.
Right.
Threw an egg. And then I was just like, that was fun. That felt good. But do I want to go vandalize things? No. I do call them sometimes and I do shit where I'm like, you're going to fucking die, bitch. And then I hang up the phone.
Right. Yeah. I like how you dropped an egg by accident and then you're going to die, bitch.
I'm going to fucking kill you. I saw you at the Walgreens. Like, I'll literally like see where they are on Facebook.
Sure.
Wait a week.
Date them. Make them fall in love with me. We have babies.
Write a book. Tell them I'm their father.
Those babies have babies. And on a deathbed, I go, never loved you. You're the ones that jumped out of the van at me. And they're like, fuck.
I've totally thought about some Scott P. What is it? The Cartman, when Cartman puts that kid's family in chili and then makes him eat it. That episode. It's all about how people escalate into long game revenge. Like I've thought about like, what's a really funny one that's petty, that's not going to hurt them.
Well, I like the revenge that you did with this woman that jumped you. The sketch artist is drawing her and you deliberately make her look fatter in the face than she is. So it shows on the news.
And it's in the police report. It says victim kept screaming her name and address. Victim said that she was stabbed. Victim repeated woman's face was fat. So I was like, yeah, I was doing that before the sketch artist too. I was like, she looked fat. Like she did. I remember being like, girl, don't wear that. Like, you look bad. And then, but I was scared. Like, so part of me thought like, okay, this chick, because I lived in San Antonio. So I've seen like a lot of meth heads. And when she got out of that van, I was like, this bitch, she looked like a Florida meth head. Like she looked bad. Like she was just like eye makeup running, shaking.
This is the person who stabbed you, right? This is what we're describing.
They literally like, she pops out of a van and I'm like, the way she did it, it was like, ta-da. So, but part of me is like, did she just get pushed out or did she jump? And then she was walking to me very frantic along a sidewalk while they're parked and they're like getting out. And that part in my head, like I remember it happening in my head. Like that's the one super consistent that I will always laugh at because I chuckled to myself when it happened. I remember when I see something silly, my mind goes straight to jokes. Like what kind of jokes can I make out of this in the future if I were telling this story? Because at the time I was actively like on a riding break, like trying to ride a lot. So I remember when I saw
I was robbed, two guys with two guns. And first thing I did was open up my notes app. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, in case something comes.
Just in case you say something silly.
Yeah.
It's something like, when you have writer's block, it helps for a traumatic event to happen. And then the pages just pour right in front of you.
Yeah. So, and I'm bad at timing. So I'm like, let's just do it now, And I'm like sitting there thinking when they got out, I'm like, this looks like one of those, when you see the gangs and they're like leaning back and they're flicking quarters. Like the way they got out of the van and leaned and lit their cigarettes, it was very Greasers, like Outsiders to me. And I remember walking up like, oh, that's very gangy. Like I'm looking at him like, that's gangy. Why is this girl coming towards me? And that's what made me think she was in trouble. Like, did these people just push this girl out of van? She's terrified, walking towards me, about to say help. Like that's what it looked like at first. And then when I looked down, I remember I'm such a piece of shit. And this is my Catholic grandma in me. I'm sitting there like, those shorts are too short. Her thighs are rubbing together. Like that's gotta be uncomfortable. Like that. I'm judging her shorts and fat shaming her immediately. And I look like shit and I'm fatter than her. So I'm like, how dare I, So then in my head,
that's a big lesson. To me, it was like a blur. But to you really take it in, and that's good.
I sat there looking at her, and I was like gray hoodie, pink shirt, because I also am I'd been watching Dateline and Game of Thrones that day, but like all kinds of crime shows, like that's all I watch. And I always think like if you're in a situation that's questionable, like I'm very like perceptive at remembering weird things that strike me as odd. And the way the gang was standing, like against the van,
Mhm.
and then the way she was walking, it was very like frantic. But at the same time, I was like, it's just such it's such a weird outfit. It was colder outside.
Well, when
And
did it switch to
the knife?
Knowing that you were in trouble when you saw the knife?
The knife inside her.
Because I didn't believe it. She had a knife, and it was like a black, like this long. It looked like a ninja,
5 inches,
like the ones that you get out of a gas station. And I remember,
I'm sorry, what she just drew kind of that looked more than 5 inches to me. Okay.
it was
Anyway.
like this. No, it actually, fuck. It was probably like about half this pin sticking out, and it was black and very sharp, and it just.
All right, now that's not in me, but I'm guessing that's 3 inches. Okay, if I can gauge.
That's about 3 inches. Yeah.
All right.
But it's about how she works it.
Well, she was doing this with it, so it's
twisting
like
it.
actually it's this color too. So she's doing this next to like literally twitching, but down at her side as she's pacing fast. And I remember thinking like, man, this chick looks like she needs help. And I was like, do you need help or something? I was like, can I help you? Because in my head, it's like, maybe she was using that to protect herself, but also I hadn't thought that. Like, I'm still thinking, like, is that a knife? Is that a knife? Like,
but what was your tone? Because there's a, can I help you?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
no.
Yeah.
It was like, are you okay? Do you need help? Like, it was almost like me whispering loud, if that makes sense.
And she's like, no, sorry. And then where'd she stab you?
She just walked right up to me and she got nose to nose with me. And that's when my body, like, I felt. You ever sit on your foot and then you try to stand and you can't? It's just tingly and numb.
Mm-hmm.
Like my whole body head to toe felt like that. And I just remember her being like nose to nose. And she just started saying, bitch, like long. She was saying, bitch, as she's walking around me. And I just followed her with my face because I was like, I couldn't see her hand anymore. We were literally nose to nose. And I was scared if I looked down, she's going to do something.
She's a close talker.
She literally, it was like some gang shit. Like, again, like I grew up in San Antonio.
I don't think it was like some gang
shit.
It was gang shit.
Yeah.
When they get boom, 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 face to face, two bitches about to fight. But what was weird was I was just standing there. So she just came up to me and I'm like, oh shit. And I'm holding my keys and I have my purse in my hand, like the strap, and it's under my hoodie. And I don't know why I was holding it like that, but part of me is like, just hold on, you know? And I didn't make a choice. Like, I remember there was no choice of fight or flight. It just happened. I'm there. Like, I didn't have the choice to flee because the way she was around me and those dudes. And I just knew that. And I knew that the only place I could go, there was no one. And then part of me was like, let's go towards a street so we can get hit by a car. Because I'd much rather that.
Yeah. I get that though, because it's causing a ruckus and
there's a light. Maybe she'll run away before. Maybe I could push her into the car. Like, I'm thinking like get her in the street. But before anything, I'm like, is that a knife? Because as I'm nose to nose with her, she says bitch. And there's this moment where I'm like, ew, what? Like, what is happening? And then I saw the knife.
Yeah. This is too. First of all, I don't think women should say it to other women. Secondly,
I'm just like, I don't know you. Like, part of me is like, do I know her? Like, I had 1,000 thoughts. Like, what is happening? Do I know you? Why are you staying so close to me? Your breath smells bad. Like, it was very sour. Like, it smelled like she smelled like a trap house. Like, not trying to be rude. It's not like a trap house.
No. Why would you be rude? But then you saw a knife come at you?
It was like, I see the black blade and I'm still like, and I did this. And then I saw it go through my hands. So when it went through my hands, I was like, oh shit, this is for real. And then I just.
Was she going to kill you when you put your hands over your face? She was going to stab your face?
She was going to stab here.
Neck. That's your neck.
Yeah. And so
killed you.
That's terrifying. And
I'd say.
I still am like, is that a knife? Like, and so I did this shit because, again, I watched a lot of wrestling.
Wait. Hold on. When you blocked your neck with your hand, did she stab you through your hand?
Yeah, she got me. I don't know if you can really see it very well. I'll try to put it up there. Do you see that scar right there?
We'll
on your finger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did the second knife come to? Where'd the second one go to?
I want to say my hands were like this or like this. I don't really remember which way.
Palm out or palm in.
I know that I think it was like that, but I did both. So I'm doing this, and I just remember seeing it the first time through here, and that's when the blood, but I didn't know that the blood came from there because it was everywhere at that point. And she had done it super fast. And the way she did it, it wasn't directly at my neck. It was like first there, then up, then down. Like she's doing this. And I'm like, ah.
Oh, so just like in what we see on TV or in movies, like a jail fight where they stab and walk away.
Yeah, but it was just one hand. I don't know where her other hand was, honestly. Like all I remember was like, that's happening. I saw it go through my finger, like through the corner of it. And then I remember seeing it come through here somewhere. And there's blood everywhere down here because I looked down and I don't feel it though. Like it's like if someone just tapped on my hand.
Right.
So at that point, are you getting stabbed multiple times, but you no longer feel anything?
I didn't feel anything the first time. That's what was weird is I see it, but I'm like, it's just like if someone was just tapping my hand. And then I looked down and briefly saw blood everywhere.
And then they leave?
Walk away?
No, I started jumping backwards, like get away from the knife. And then she grabbed my hoodie and she started cutting it. And that's when I was like, what the fuck? And she started like, a full disclosure, she grabbed my tit and like scratched it back and pulled it. And I was like, it was weird because it was more shocking. It wasn't like, didn't hurt. I felt nothing. When that happened and when I kind of started seeing the blood, I lost my shit, dude. Like she was shorter than me. And I just remember grabbing her by the hair and I literally picked her up and I thought,
you picked a person up by their hair with one hand
while doing this. And I still have my keys dangling.
Wait, hold on. Because some people are just listening to this. You're pulling her up by her hair and she's off the ground.
Her feet, her tiptoes, I believe were like dragging it. I remember hearing the sound of dragging because I threw her in the street. And then I jumped on her and I just started fucking. I had my keys in my hand with the mace on them and I was just punching her with that. And then I like choked her. And while she's laying there, she's still doing this with the other hand. And I've got my elbow. I had my elbow down and then I had my hand here. And so I'm like
on her somewhere.
Trying to like on her neck. And I'm trying to like with my elbow hold her arm down. And I'm trying to choke her. And it wasn't working because I kept seeing that. And I'm doing this.
What's up with the guys in the van at this point? There were 3 guys in the van. Okay.
I don't know. They're still there. I didn't remember them when this was happening. Like it's happening and I'm doing this. And I just remember like I'm looking at her and her eyes started to turn red. And I heard her go, eh. And then she like starts to push me up. And as she's pushing me up, I remember that's when her eyes got huge. And I started to think like, she's petechial hemorrhaging, which is so stupid. But I had just been watching a shitload of crime shit where that happens. I'm like, we're at the point where it takes a long time to strangle someone. Like I saw on there that it can take like, if you're doing like a full Nelson choke and shit in wrestling, even then, like you can make someone pass out. Yeah. But to kill them, you have to break the hyoid bone. And if you're choking them up here, there's going to be like a good 5-minute struggle. And I'm literally choking her and I'm thinking like, I don't know how long this takes, but I don't want to do this.
Yeah,
like
I still got to go to the post office. You know, I had plans today.
No, I just didn't want to kill. Like in my head, I'm like, I'm not trying to be like all up on myself, but I think I'm killing this bitch and I don't want to. You know, that's kind of like, it was so stupid of a thought because I was like, I better let go or she's going to die. And then immediately knife towards face again. Then I saw her come again and I'm like, I see the blade again. Fuck, she's for real. And at that point, she's like up again. And then these dudes are like, I hear, and I look up and I see them and they're coming to help. And I'm still like pulling on her ponytail, blocking her. She's actively doing this while pulling on my clothes.
Stabbing.
Yeah, she's pulling on my clothes. And then this guy comes up and grabs my purse. And it is between my hoodie and my t-shirt. And everything's cut and half a tit's out. And this guy's pulling on my fucking purse now. But I'm like, let me get my hoodie off so you can get it, dickhead.
Right.
And then finally he gets he gets it like to where it's like basically like choking me. And I just remember pulling it back. And then there's people around me and the girl is still coming at me. And there's one point where I got away and I realized they're around me. And I did the dumbest. This is the dumbest part. This is where I was the most scared because all I have is this purse that has like a little wallet in it and some Cap City tickets and like $30. And then I'm still doing all this. My keys are dangling off one finger. And I start doing this, like swinging my purse at them. And it just lightly taps one. And then he's like, oh, and then they all just came in. And like, it was like, I don't know how long, like a second, 2 seconds of just walloping. I don't know how to explain it.
These three guys are beating you up.
Yeah, and her. And then.
And her? Oh, and she's beating you up too. Okay.
And then the one guy, I call him, he's the one I call Latino Hannibal Buress. Because he looks like if Hannibal Buress was a Latino guy. And even the cops said that when I said that, when they saw the guy in the lineup that I picked, they're like, oh, he does. I love Hannibal. I'm like, he rules. He's such a nice guy. But like this is some conversation. Like him.
This was nothing like conversation I had when I was robbed with the cops. I'll tell you.
I associate everything with celebrities. Like, for example, when I saw the Delphi murder suspect sketch from Indiana, I went, that guy looks like Roddy Piper. Like in my head, like, I just do that so I can remember shit like that.
How does this whole thing end?
Well, I told them like, oh, so yeah. So one of them like, and he's the one that was, I remember looking at him. I cracked one in the nose and I remembered I bit one and I scratched one in a specific spot. And I remembered that when I was doing it. And I remember thinking like, that felt great to punch him because I couldn't feel anything. And when I knocked him and I saw the blood, I was like, fuck yeah, DNA, like in my head. And I remember I ripped some of her hair out and I tried to put it in my pocket, but I was bleeding, like it was sticky. And so there's like her hair stuck to me. And I'm like, yes, I have a treasure trove. So in my head, it's like, just get out alive. And the only like combat shit I know really is like, go for the ankles, choke, get right here. Stab at them with all these things and simultaneously drop to your knees, like Krav McGraw or whatever, like just bang, go limp. So I was like, fuck it. Like I was about to do that because I was scared. They were just like walloping me. And then this dude, I look over, he had hickeys on his neck. It was honestly.
He punched you.
I want to be a director one day just so I can make a cinematography shot of what that looked like. It looked like the SmackDown fist. Like it was perfect form. Just a boom.
How does this stop?
She died. I think she died. I fucking
cracked my head. That was also the weirdest shit was that like when it happened, like I remember seeing a fist and thinking, like, that's a fist.
Are you still getting beat up now?
Yeah, well, it's done. He cracked me. As soon as he cracked me, dude, everything went yellow. Like I remember hearing dunk and then everything went yellow. And then this is what's weird is I still have this dream. And I've talked about this to a lot of my friends. I remember seeing Old Maid cards. Do you remember Old Maid?
Sure.
It's like black and then there's cards and it's cartoon drawings of people I know.
Okay.
And it's just flicking. Huh. And I remember being really sad. And it was like, here's a guy you worked with at Joe's Crab Shack. Here's your grandma. Here's your aunt. Here's your uncle. Here's that dude you blew behind the Joe's Crab Shack. Here's someone that you met at Cheesecake Factory. Like it's literally people and it's a cartoon and it has their name. And I'm seeing 100 of them. And then everything goes yellow and I wake up and I'm looking around and I'm like, I see them running. I just see feet. And I remember like someone was pulling on my pants. And someone like grabbed my glasses and picked them up and dropped them. And everything was blurry. And then I remember smelling cigarettes, and feeling a little pain in my abdomen. And when I looked down, they were one of them was letting go of my pants. Like they were trying to pull my pants down. And my ass was already half out. My belly's out, half a tit's out. I'm fucking embarrassed. Like, go do your thing, guys, And they, as soon as I sat up, the last two went running, but I couldn't see much except it was blurry. And I saw a little bumper sticker. I saw the silver van again. but it's blurry. Like in my head, all I asked is it was very much like being drunk and waking up and having to pee. And then the other weird thing was everything's doing this and it's yellow. Yeah, everything's yellow. Like my vision is yellow, but I can still see the redness of the light. It's like a bright orange.
That's why whenever she got to the hospital and when she described these people, they all looked like Simpsons characters.
It was, they did, dude. It was weird because so when that happened, I just remember I stood back up and I said something stupid like, you motherfuckers come back here. I was being crazy. And then I fell. Like I just remember falling and then I heard another crack and then I was out again, but it was all black. And then I woke up and like both sides of my head hurt. That was the first time I could feel like pain. There's blood fucking everywhere. And then I just looked over and I can only see out of one eye and everything's doing this and the other. It was very weird. Yeah, it was like yellow and there was double vision.
This is in the hospital?
No, I'm on the ground. And then I grabbed some leaves because I saw my glasses that were broken and I used the leaf to pick up the glasses because I didn't want to I knew they touched them. Like in my head, I'm still like, get evidence. And I grabbed them and I dragged them near me. And then I saw my keys and I grabbed those and I pulled them. And then I remember trying to look down at my pants, but I couldn't sit up and there was like hair. And so I put that on top of there and I just put my head down. It was like, okay, I'm by my evidence pile. And when I turned my head and I saw in the distance, the van was stopped where my house was. And then I freaked the fuck out. And I tried to
they took your driver's license, you assume?
Well, yeah, they took because they got my purse, but my roommates were home. And I was like, they're going to go hurt my roommates. Like in my head, they're going to go rob my house and hurt my roommates. I don't know why I thought that, but I tried to get up again and then I couldn't. I just was done. And I was screaming like, help. And I remember screaming my name. At some point, like when me and her were fighting, I remember screaming help and then fire and then rape. Why are you doing this? Help, help. And then I screamed some shit like free food and free beer. And I was like screaming free stuff, like trying to get.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
I legit had learned that back in the day. Like if you yell something that will make people come out, and I always thought free beer in Austin and South by it just happened. And that was the thing people were screaming. So I was like, maybe people will come out if I'm like free beer or party, And I remember I screamed. There's something else I yelled that was like crazy about like, I'm from San Antonio. I live in Austin, like yelling about my address. It was weird. But
well, I heard some of this and it was, you yelled free beer. I'm excited. Then you go rape, fire. And I'm like, I don't know what kind of party this is,
It's a fun party. No, they legit were like, these people came out of their house and they legit were like, what the fuck is going on here? Oh my God, it's a girl. And then it was a family and there was a little girl and she was so cute. And she just squatted in front of me and she's like, you're bloody. And I was just like, oh my God, you're going to be a serial killer. Like don't look at me. And her mom's like, go back upstairs. Stop looking at her. Don't touch her. And then the dad, I remember saying, take my phone because it was in my pocket. I was like, please call my mom. Call my roommates. Here's my name. Don't let the cops take this because it was the only thing I had left. Like,
don't let the cops take your phone.
Mm-hmm. It was like all I had. Like, I really didn't have anything else on me and I wanted to call my mom. And for some reason, I thought they were going to take it for evidence or something. I'm still thinking about evidence at that point because I know they keep it all. So I'm like, don't let them take my phone. And then this guy's like holding my bloody phone and he's like, do you want me to clean it? Do you want me to call your mom? And then he calls the cops and his wife called my mom. And then they switched phones because one was being real crazy because my mom was on the phone and he's like, she's okay, blah, 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 blah. And then the lady calls the police and then the police show up. And I remember I was bleeding on their carpet. They brought me in their house and they were like, it's okay. It's in foreclosure. Like you just, I was like, thank you. And then the cops came and they were like, oh, your name's Catherine. Where do you live? And I was like, right there. And they're like, who do you live with? And I was like, comedians. They were like, what are their names? I was like, Bryan County, Cody Ustack. Adam Raybig. And then they're like, what's your name? What's your day? And I'm sitting there like, is this a fucking interview? And then I realized like they're trying to see if I like what I remember and shit. Yeah. And then they told me that I had two like pretty bad injuries on my head. It was like swelling or what. It was just like bumps. And then I had like my eye was shattered. And I was like, what's wrong with my eye? I can't see. And I heard them say no orbital bone. And I was like, what does that mean? And then the EMTs were like, they just squatted down and they're like, okay, tell us everything. Like, are you okay? Where does it hurt? And then they asked me like, we were in the ambulance on the way and they were like, what hospital do you want to go to? And I was like, I don't fucking know. And they're like, do you have insurance? I'm like, no. And they were like, okay, we're going to take you to this one and they're going to look at your face first. And then we're going to go get your stab wounds. And I was like, stab wounds? Because like, even though it had all just happened, I like forgot about that already. Like I was still like fucked up from the how hot the cops were. The cops were so hot. Who did they
look like before we end this? What celebrities did they look like?
It was literally like the cast of True Detective showed up. It was they were gorgeous, and one was named Lalou.
I have one final question about this. Do you have the number of stabs from that day? Like an actual...
It's literally like on my hands, I have 5 little scars. 2 of them are big. It went through this finger and you could see like the bone. This was totally open. Finger. Yeah. This finger had like 3 stitches on it and this one had like 9. And then I got one down here.
The roast beef finger, right?
Yeah, that was the fatty finger. And then I had a spot.
I meant like 3 little pigs or something, you know.
Oh, yeah. And like literally, it was a lot of like nicks and bumps. Like, because keep in mind, I'm backing up. So a lot of it was just cuts that have healed all right. But the fingers are the ones like, there's shit like I could do like shit like that. Like I broke
bend it, like when people say they're double jointed, that kind of thing. Yeah, right?
But I broke all my knuckles. So all these bones, like if you put your hands on there, you can feel them all moving. And I don't really have like a lot of feeling in these fingers. I don't have any feeling right here. So if like a mosquito's on me. Yeah.
Under your eye.
And like you can kind of see like one's a little smaller. Like I had to have this all replaced, the orbital bone. And then this had been bitten by a dog when I was 8. So this was already fucked up. So they just attached that. Yeah. So
if you ever needed a reason to sign up or to subscribe to our YouTube, this is the one.
Right. No kidding. No kidding.
This is the episode to watch on YouTube. And of course, that's under Keith and the Girl. And definitely listen to Kat's Risk podcast because it is just, I mean, even though we just heard this story, it's such a good one. She's first up on her episode. You can get it so easily and it's so worth a listen.
There you have. Well, I'm glad you're alive because Lord,
thank you.
And you have a lot of brain functions. A lot of thinking was going on during all this. So
oh my God, I have too much, but I do forget really basic things.
Well, because you got all this shit in your head about the evidence. Of course you do. I mean, who has the space for that? Here's what you want to do. You want to follow Kat. You can go to her website, Versace Calace, right? Yeah. That's her rap character. Social media, follow all that. What else can I tell you? I think that's it with that. Of course, this Monday, we'll be celebrating 17 years of podcasting. And neither of us, I think I can speak for him, to have celebrated 17 years of anything. Maybe our ages, but even then, you're still waiting for a better one. So thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for sharing it. Thanks for giving us the gift of releasing another episode. And we love you. Kat, thank you so much for your time.
I love you guys so much. And I'm so proud of you and your 17-year-old baby.
Thank you.
It's about to leave the home in a year.
Right.
Like you basically raised a child together.
Right. And we acknowledge it.
And everyone loves it. Everyone loves your kid. Good job.
Thanks.